Hello, fellow investors. Today I will analyze what are the opportunities that lie ahead when you invest in NVIDIA, also known as Graphics King. NVIDIA is an amazing stock to own. Lately, it has been on tear owing to easily exceeding revenues and earnings expectation in quarter 3. Also, recently, NVIDIA introduced a new set of devices for software developers to create the metaverse, which is a 10 billion market opportunity for NVIDIA moving forward. Since the beginning of this year, NVIDIA stock unbelievably surged by a hefty 152%. In today's video, I will break down why NVIDIA is an excellent stock and what are the best buy points to acquire the stock in the midst of a frothy market. But before we proceed, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video to help grow our channel. Thank you for that, and so let's get started. In a nutshell, let me give you a brief market scan to determine where the market is and use this as a backdrop to make a sound investment decision. The analysis of the stock will cover a short corporate background about NVIDIA, followed by fundamental and technical analysis, which are the core areas in evaluating the company. After that, we will make a recap and navigate you on how to trade this stock profitably. In closing, I would like to give a valuable quote from Warren Buffett to guide your future action in your stock investment. For the week beginning in November 12 and ending November 19, Nasdaq and S&P 500 are at all-time high, while Dow remained close at record levels. For the week beginning November 12 and ending in November 19, the Dow dropped by 1.38%. S&P remained flattish, while Nasdaq rose by 1.23%. However, since the start of the year, S&P 500 grew by a huge 27%, followed by Nasdaq, which rose by 26.5%, while Dow recorded a yield of 18%. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 outperformed during the week due to the following reasons. The semiconductor industry outperformed due to optimism in the metaverse. Investors are betting that metaverse will be the future of technology where everyone can engage in the 3D virtual worlds. The rising case of COVID in Europe could raise a specter of lockdowns in the US, and this will augur well for the technology sector as what we witnessed during the height of the pandemic, where the tech outperformed. The US retail sales surged in October, and so the big retailers like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and TJ Maxx, among others, have beaten consensus estimates. Strong economic data out of China also lifted investors' sentiments as both retail and industrial production accelerated in October over last year. Inflation fears linger, which dampened Dow components. After giving you a brief on the financial market, let's take a look at NVIDIA's corporate background. NVIDIA was founded in 1993. It is a leading designer of graphics processor. That is why it is known as the Graphics King. It has grown into a dominant force in the graphics market, where it has been selected by Microsoft for its Xbox gaming console. NVIDIA is also a leader in deep learning and artificial intelligence used by all major cloud company providers. Just recently, NVIDIA has released a set of tools for developers to create the metaverse of 3D virtual worlds. This slide gives us an overview of the company's sales composition. The gaming platform accounts for the lion's share of the revenues, hitting 47%, while data center comprised about 40%. The rest of the revenues are contributed by professional visualization, automotive, and other products. In terms of profitability, NVIDIA has exhibited an impressive steady rise in revenue for the years 2020 to 2022. I would like to emphasize that the company's fiscal year ends in January 2022. Revenue is consistently climbing from 10.9 billion in 2020 to 16.6 billion in 2021, and finally to 21.9 billion for trailing 12 months in 2022. In 2020, revenue growth dropped by 6.82% due to the lower sales of GoForce desktop GPU for gaming platforms. Notwithstanding, net income has been on the rise. In 2020, net income reached 2.8 billion, 4.3 billion in 2021, and finally to 7 billion in 2022. Net income growth remained high at 54.6% in 2021 to 63.5% in 2022. NVIDIA's liquidity posture has remained healthy for the last 3-year periods under review. Operating cash flow was up from 4.7 billion in 2020 to 5.8 billion in 2021, and finally hitting 7.9 billion in 2022. Likewise, free cash flow has been on the uptrend, reaching a massive 6.6 billion in 2022. Debt to equity is at a comfortable level at 0.45:1, meaning debt is covered 2.2 times by its equity. The company's market capitalization at 798 billion US dollars is one of the highest in the semiconductor industry. Investors have placed their confidence on how the company is being run and its growth prospects going forward. Owing to this, its valuation looks frothy with 105 times trailing PE compared to AMD of 47 times and 10 times for Intel. Intrinsic value using discounted cash flow method with 9% discount rate, NVIDIA is selling at 178% premium versus 71% premium for AMD and 72% discount for Intel. The company payout is 5.7%, while AMD is not paying dividend, and Intel's payout is high at 26.6%. We have come to the most important part of this presentation, which is the stock chart. As can be gleaned from the chart, the stock price has been moving upward, forming an uptrend channel from March till mid-September. From the third week of September, there was a dramatic rise till early part of November, forming a flag pattern. A flag pattern is a continuation pattern that when there is a breakout, the upward pattern will continue its precious upward trend. True enough, last Thursday, November 18, the flag pattern was broken out and reached all-time high. The current price is above the 50-day and the 200-day moving average and hence bullish. AMCD is hugging the signal line, while RSI at 77.66 is indicating that the stock is overbought. The buying points are $322 if you are aggressive, $288 if you are conservative, and if you are ultra conservative, you will wait until the price drops to 269. To sum it all up, NVIDIA has the following strength. First, it has relentlessly innovating its technology. It has introduced new set of devices to create metaverse. It is the leader in gaming and data center. It has promising outlook for the electric vehicle market. It has strong financial and bullish technical. What can go wrong? The semiconductor industry is highly competitive. First, stiff competition. Intel is set to launch its own laptop chip with graphic capabilities. Likewise, Apple built its own laptop chip for graphic capabilities as well. AMD rolled out its new MI200 GPU for high-performance computing and artificial intelligence to compete with NVIDIA in data center segment. Finally, Intel will bring out Ponte Vecchio GPU in 2022 for artificial intelligence application. Second, stock is overvalued using PE and intrinsic value based on discounted cash flow. Lastly, potential loss of 1.2 billion if ARM deal will not be closed, which is highly likely. And finally, we have reached the stage on how to trade the stocks. In the previous slide, we have established three buying levels: 322, 288, and 269. For all levels, our target price is 356. For the first option, 322, stop loss is 288, which will give a risk-reward ratio of 1:1. For the second option of 288, stop loss is 269. That will give a risk-reward ratio of 1:4. Lastly, the last option of 269, stop loss is 250 with a risk-reward ratio of 1:5. This information is issued solely for informational and educational purposes and does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy securities. As my closing statement, I'd like to quote Warren Buffett. We simply attempt to be fearful when others are greedy, and to be greedy only when others are fearful. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again next week for another stock analysis.